Can't we solve our problems ourselves? Or, I'm wondering why you're talking to me like this. What's your goal? I'm wondering, I feel bad about what you're saying. Did you want me to reach an agreement with you? I'm confused about why it's necessary to do this. You'll find some lawyers will not buy that, but in my model, I give everybody on the other side the opportunity to look at themselves in the mirror and say to themselves, I'm an idiot, I'm a jerk. And people don't like to say that to themselves. So I give them a chance to be unreasonable, and then they can drive themselves off a cliff, like Gandhi did, like Gandhi had Britain to. I once told another lawyer who was difficult, I made a proposal to settle, and the other lawyer wouldn't settle, and I said, I don't have access to your client right now. But eventually, I'm going to be able to get a message to him. And eventually, your client is going to see this wonderful proposal I've made, and your client will sue you for malpractice. Do you think that we should? That's a little tough, but the thing is, I want to give them a sense of reality. I want to know why it is that it's okay to be screaming at us. Why you think this is persuasive. And if they say, why don't you take it? And you say, well, I can take it, but the problem is I'll give you less if I feel bad. So did you want less or more? Also, in the beginning of the negotiation, I would say to them, should we be civil or uncivil? Like I said before. So how do you want to think about this? I also want to keep asking them why. They say, your case has no value. I want to say why. Why do you think that? Why do you think our case has no value? We think it has some value. So I just want to know. And if they really act badly, I want to talk to third parties. I want to find out if they're the only person in their firm I should talk to. I want to find out if there's a third party that can talk to them. I want to find a third party. I also want to quote the standards of the legal profession. Legal profession has standards, and those standards say lawyers should be civil to each other. The Code of Professional Responsibility. I want to give them a copy of the Code of Professional Responsibility. And I want to say I'm curious as why this is happening here. And I also want to take notes. We had a guy, there was a project in Egypt, U.S. Agency for International Development. And there was a manager there who was treating all the women badly, illegally. And the women came to me for advice. I said, here's what I want you to do. Don't fight back, don't complain. Get a notebook and a pen and write down for the next month everything he says. Just write it down. In a month from now, I want you to take the notebooks, put them together, put a rubber band around them, and send them to me. I sent them to the Agency for International Development in Washington, and that manager was fired the same day. Use their words against them. It's a very tough way of negotiating. Okay? Does that help? Okay. Other questions? Things you want to know? I'm right here at your service, and I think MIC is charging you a small fraction of my hourly fee. So I'm here at your service. Yes.
哪位同学举手的？这位 OK。
我想问一下，就是说我们在做这个产品的时候，我们的客户都说我们的产品很好，但是到最后成交的时候，往往是客户有各种的理由，然后来拖延签约的时间。我想在这一方面，你有没有什么好的建议给我们？
Excuses like what? Give me an example.
重新说一遍吗？
Excuses like what? Give me an example.
再重复遍问题。你再把问题重复一遍吧。
我们也试图跟客户来沟通，客户总是就说，有很多吧。
Like what?
想问的问题是什么
Give us an example. They're sick. The dog died. Dog ate my homework. What's the excuse?
Yes， 是就说客户总是说他下面的某一个部门会有意见。因为我们的产品相对比较复杂，需要几个部门一起来做决策，所以说他总是说某一个部门有这样和那样的意见，然后来推迟签约的时间。
Okay, so they're talking to you, but they're just giving you lots of excuses why they can't make a decision. Right? They're talking to you, but they're giving you excuses why they can't make a decision. Now, that may be a delaying tactic, but it also may be that they're blowing smoke at you, or there's some underlying reason. I want to test them. Get the details. Say, tell us where our products are too complicated. When can we explain our products to you? They're complicated, but they work. Let's have lunch, and let's explain the first feature to you. Let's have breakfast. We'll explain the second feature to you. Let's have dinner. We'll explain the third feature to you. That's a commitment idea. And then I want to know which departments are you having trouble deciding, and what are they having trouble deciding? How can we help? If they say, I don't know, say, well, let's find out what their problem is. 2 minds are better than 1. And if they won't tell you, say, well, clearly you must think there's some value in our product because you're talking to us. Let us help you. Or is there somebody who would like us to help you? Let's find out. What are the issues? I want to keep pressing to get the information from them. And if they say, I don't know, say, wait a minute. This is your business. You're smart. Somebody around there has to know. They can't escape my questions. And I'm going to keep asking them. And if they say, you're really being in a lot of trouble, and I'll say, well, tell me how I'm being in a lot of trouble. I'm just trying to increase your understanding. Why is that trouble? I'm never giving up. The negotiation is over when you say it is, not before. I don't care how many times they say no. I had a student who wanted to get a discount on Delta Airlines. He called up and they said no. He hung up and he called up somebody else. On the 13th time, the 13th person said yes. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, no, yes. So just keep at it. Keep asking questions about details. What can you solve? Solve one thing at a time. Okay. Other question. We have a few minutes left. Yes, ma'am. Please bring her the microphone.
Stuart, after this we can do a little round of distributing.
We can do what?
10 minutes of distributing.
Okay, well, all right. We can do that. But it'll take more than 10 minutes to distribute them.
Then that's fine. A little over time.
Okay. All right, yes.
你好，教授，我有个问题就想问一下，就是如果在己方不是很有利的情况下，就是在没有很多砝码的情况、筹码的情况下，就是您会觉得哪些因素会在这个谈判中获胜？就起到一些关键性的一些作用，比方说是偏重于就是利益方面的，还是偏重于情感方面的，或者说您有什么更好的一些建议？就是在弱势的情况下，怎么样去大几率的去获胜，这种就是去搏一把这种感觉。
Yes. I mean, obviously there's a limit, but people tend to do things for people that they like. People tend to do things for people that make a connection with them. So even if you are small and don't have resources, if you find out about them and make a connection with them, they will do more things for you. So I tend to find out as much as I can about the other party before I go to the negotiation. When I was a reporter for the New York Times some years ago, I was asked at 10:30 one morning to go interview the new CEO of Mobil Oil Company. Now, I didn't know this guy from anybody, so I went to the library and I said, give me the oldest stories you have on this guy. He was 50. I got some stories when he was 15 and 20 years old, and I read them in a taxi on the way over to his office. And I found out that he had been a tennis star in high school. So after I got there, we said hello and exchanged pleasantries. I said to him, so I understand you were a tennis star in high school. Do you still play? And I became his new best friend right then and there, because I made a connection with him and he spent hours with me. Find the connection. It takes more research, but even if you're a small party, even if you have no resources, if you make the connection, people will talk to you. I actually learned this not as a businessman or as a lawyer or a negotiator. I learned this as a journalist, because I used to have to get people's trust in 5 seconds to keep them in the conversation. So I'd watch them very carefully. And I found out that if I made the connection and I hit a hot button of theirs, my problem was not to get information about them. My problem was to get them to shut up. Because people love to talk about themselves. And so make the connection, find out who they are, and ask them about themselves. No matter who you are. Okay, let's take a couple of more. We have one. We have a couple. Yes, this one person here. This person.
那边那位举手的男同学，这是最后一个问题吧 ？This will be the last
Yes,
question, okay? This will be the last one.
We have some time, and we have.
Yeah, but we're preparing. This will take some time.
Okay, whatever you want to do. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Okay, you were first.
教授你好，教授你好，今天早上的课程信息量很大，有一些地方呢，我有一些比较困惑的地方，所以想请教授能够再澄清一下，就是在一早上的在刚开始您讲到有一个我们在谈判过程当中，要谨慎的透露出我们还有备选方案，以防我们的对方感受到威胁而导致毁掉一段可以长期建立的合作关系。这里边我有2个疑惑的点，就是在我们一般性的谈判过程当中呢，当我们的谈判对手往往是如果他没有充分的感受到他面临着跟我合作的这种竞争性的时候，他会不愿意主动的降低价格。第二个问题是第二个困惑的点是
All right. Let's stop there. Let's
Okay.
stop there. That is the old way of negotiating. It's not that it doesn't work. It's not good enough. An old way of transportation was to use horses, not cars. It gets you places, but, cars are better. You'll find that if you threaten people, they might do what you want, but they will not trust you. I tell my students, if they go to a firm they're trying to get a job with on Wall Street, and they say, I have other offers, they may get the job, but the managing partner will write in their file, may be disloyal. And you won't get the best work, and you won't get the best mentor. And you don't even know that that's happening. So it's an old way of doing. What I would say instead is that they'll say, do you have other offers? and I will say, I can get 20 other offers. Why do you want me to have other offers? Why can't I just deal with you? You know this project is terrific. Do I have to go out and get another offer in order for you to do this deal with me? Why can't we just figure out what meets our needs and deal from there? So I want to get rid of that whole idea of getting other offers. It just doesn't do very much for the relationship. Let's say they just let me fix this. They have other offers. I say, well, I'm glad you have other offers. What can I do to improve your way of getting value from me? And I'm not just going to deal on the money. I'm going to talk about the intangibles. So if they have another price offer that's better, I'll say, is price the only thing? What about reliability? What if you want me at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday? Is the other company that has a cheap price, are they going to get up for you? Are they going to help you meet an emergency order for you? Are they going to go the extra mile for you? I will. And so are you sure you're getting the best deal with them? I also might say to them, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to meet the other offer for 3 months. And let's have some criteria. And at the end of 3 months, we're going to examine those criteria. And if you get more value, we'll negotiate again. And if I still can't get them, I'm going to say, maybe you should have a second source of supply in case something goes wrong with the other party. So why don't you have me as a backup supplier, and let's talk again in a month. And I will continue to find out as much as I can about the other party and propose it. Because parties that usually deal just with price, they don't do much research. And if somebody comes to me with another price, I'll say, well, how about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? And I become much more valuable to that other party. Again, it requires you to collect a lot more information, but it is much, much more effective, and the people who do this in the world are much, much more competitive. I have a banker, a personal banker. The banker doesn't get me quite as much interest on my retirement account as other bankers, but I love this banker. I have a problem, they come over in the afternoon to my house, they invite me to things, they get my kid concerts. So for the extra few $100s a year, doesn't matter to me. Those are the kind of things you should think about. You had a second question. What's your second question?
好的，谢谢教授。我了解您刚才的这个意思了。我的第二个是一个观点，我不知道是否准确，所以想请您帮我做一个判断，是否是可以这样讲，是能否建立一段长期的合作关系，并不取决于是否让对方意识到，我有一个备选的方案，而是让对方感受到我方有一个会持续购买的愿景。如果我是作为一个采购方的话，在这个合作过程当中。
Long term is better. Tell me something. When you want to marry somebody, do you say to them, marry me or I'll kill you? I don't think so. Oh, if you don't marry me, I got all these other girlfriends I can talk to. Doesn't work so well. So I want the longer term plan. The more you have a relationship with somebody over the long term, the faster the transaction costs, the lower the transaction costs, and the more trust, and the more you tell each other, and the more valuable that relationship is.
Okay.
Okay, so are we done? Okay, thank you all very much. Let me just tell you, thank you. This afternoon, you get to try this. So we have a case, a negotiation. You're all going to do this negotiation. 1 versus 1. Sophie's going to hand out some placards.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a case to read. We're going to see how you do. So you get to try it yourself this afternoon.
Okay. Well, we now are only like 4 minutes to 12, so we can save it at the beginning of the class.
So
Yeah.
when we come back, when you come back at 2 o'clock, there will be some placards around, starting with 1 and going to the number of people here. Each 2 people sit at 1 placard. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then we'll hand out the case, you'll read the case, and we'll do the negotiation. All right?
OK， 感谢戴蒙德教授，我们以热烈的掌声感谢他上午的非常多干货的这个演讲啊。